And we are live. It is 7:30 p.m. And you know what that means. It means that we are ready to just absolutely launch this up. But before we do, first of all, I got to say welcome, Grafted In. I am so happy that you found your way in. And then second of all, we have Miss Dawn. Say hello, baby.
Good evening, all.
And if you can pull your mic just a little bit closer.
Sorry, hon.
There we go. I have it turned down so my voice doesn't come through it so
It
much.
has a mind of its own. You see that? You're looking at that,
We'll see
it says.
We'll see what we can do. I was just, before we get to that.
Grafted In says, thanks for the link.
Absolutely. Who all do we have in the chat tonight?
Human being. Hey.
How we doing, human being?
It can't be a joke. Christy, Sue,
And there we go.
Babushka. They're all here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. I was looking at last night's show just a little bit and watching that chat, and I'll tell you, I don't think that I have seen a more lively chat on, except some of the really big shows with 500,000 people, but anything that's like our little show, and we're growing. But I don't think anybody has a chat like we do. Speaking of which, look at this, baby. So this is LaShawn. Hi, LaShawn. How are we doing tonight? This is, we've seen oil slick pictures like this in the past, but these are really...
That looks like a painting.
Yeah, that is quite something. That is... aluminum oxide, aluminum hydroxide, it's strontium, barium, graphene oxide. We've got all the usual suspects right there. It is just, really, truly an amazing picture.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Beautiful, but disgusting.
Beautiful. But, they say that the devil doesn't come at you like, with pitchfork and horns.
And what's funny?
It comes at you like a beautiful woman.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so.
Meteorologists they've named all these new clouds. Like this actually has a name and it's supposed to, make the public think that this is normal. We've just got a new cloud and we've named it. I don't know what they're calling it. But.
Yeah. Is there a name for these oil slick rainbow clouds? Because we're seeing them more and more. We probably, how often do you think we see them here in Boise?
Every day.
Yeah. But with the rainbow.
Not as big as that, though. That's a big one.
That really is. But we've seen some huge like that, especially driving out of Spokane, going west over towards Seattle. They spray that farmland mercifully. And you see a lot of those big oil slick clouds over there. We see some of them over here. We've got agriculture. It really troubles me that 5 years ago we never saw this ever. And in the past 5 years, once Biden was elected, and I think that they in the late 2019 they started really big uptick. I noticed in the spring. And then once Trump won the election in November, we saw another huge uptick, almost doubled. And then come January 20th, the day he was sworn in, it more than doubled again. I've never, ever seen so much spraying as I have since January of this year. It is absolutely suffocating. And so because of that, we're going to talk about any number of things tonight. And I am just going to get things started. Is anybody saying anything in the chat I need to be aware of?
Earthquake will be blamed on climate change, JSHW says.
Yeah, they've got a whole swarm of 7 and 8s over in the South Pacific there I saw today. Just a little bit. Dutch Sense is talking about it.
What's Cloud Atlas?
Yeah, there you go. Tom Hanks movie. Probably one of the worst. That and French Lieutenant's Woman with Meryl Streep were probably two of the most boring movies.
No,
the cloud, the actual Atlas of the clouds.
Let's update.
That's too bad because I was just getting wound up. It was like one of those little cars that kids play with.
Yeah, you were getting all excited.
Yeah, I was ready to go completely and utterly. All right, so that brings us up to, I've got a 3-part series scheduled for tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday night. And we're going to take you, or, well, we'll try to anyways, through the process, who is involved and what is going on in the sky. Because I think that the number one question I get asked is, Sergey, who's doing this? Well, rather than just a big blanket, the government and the NGOs, we're going to name who's doing it, because I think that information is very important. We need to take a look at what DOGE found. $4.7 trillion black hole that absolutely nobody was held accountable for. No receipts. That is worrisome. So I'm thinking that we need to dig into this. I don't think it's difficult to say that if I told you that nearly $5 trillion of your money, yes, trillion, I'm not billion, not million, but $5 trillion worth of your money has vanished from the federal accounts without any explanation at all. No oversight, no receipts. And of course, we had no say in it. That, I think, chaps my hide more than anything. This isn't some Blackwater, audit error. This is a coordinated cover-up. According to a July 2025 report from the Department of Government Efficiency, more commonly known as DOGE, and one of the reasons that Elon Musk is starting his own party because he's tired of none of this being hunted down. $4.7 trillion in federal payments lack a Treasury account symbol, meaning they're almost impossible to track. That's 70% of the entire 2024 budget gone, completely gone. We have no clue where it went. And I'll tell you where I think it's going. I think it's being dumped into the sky, into cloud seeding planes, into HAARP ionospheric heaters, into universities and billionaires and defense contractors, all building a climate control grid in the name of fighting warming. That's got to be scary. But this isn't about climate change. This is about control. And I think that is probably the number one thing that we need to start remembering, is that this has nothing to do with the climate and absolutely everything with controlling you and me by draining more and more tax dollars out, driving up the cost of living, suppressing our immune systems, destroying fertility rates, crippling our crops, poisoning our air and our water, and getting rid of virtually all living life on the planet. Tonight, we launch a 3-part series on the geoengineering war against the American people. Episode 34 begins now. Baby, can you believe it's actually been, Dawn, can you believe it has actually been 34 episodes? A few more episodes, we'll be at 35.
Wow, you can count.
I'm a big counter now.
Mary Maga says DOD loses trillions every year.
Completely, and we're gonna talk about that budget or the audits that have been failed.
Babushka says monopoly money to them.
It means nothing, absolutely nothing. It's not their money. They don't care, right? I mean, and this is why the deep state, it was so important for Donald Trump to root the deep state out, at least shine a light on them. Now, of course, the cockroaches have been scattering, but they're hiding under other stones, really. What else are they saying over there, babe?
We actually got a new person here, QXE3. He's on Kick.
Kick. Well, there we go. Thank you very much for...
Or she, I don't know.
He or she.
Says, Joe, I really enjoy your streams and would love to know when you go live so I don't miss it. And add me onto Discord. We don't have a Discord.
Yeah, we don't have. We're not.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah. I mean, it's taken us a couple of months just to get a website that's functioning. Yeah. We're not the most technically advanced people. We're looking for somebody to help us, but yes, absolutely. So I go live every weekday night from 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time until 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And then on Sundays, we do kind of a talk
Sunday
about
fun
everything.
Day. Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. Talk about just about everything under the sun. And that is from 6 p.m. Mountain Time until 9 p.m. Mountain Time. And, well, we've done 2 of them, and I really enjoy
They're
them.
fun. So thank you, AWQXE3.
Thank you, AWQXE3, very much for holding down the kick over there. We're going to try to grow that. We're working on it. We're a fairly new show, so
back to another question was waiting for. Super says waiting for my $600 tariff check.
Oh, yeah, exactly. When do we get money back?
Yeah.
Right. When do eggs come back down to $1.99 a dozen?
Oh, jeez. I just spent $12 the other day.
It's insane. Absolutely insane. You know, they raise the prices like this, and then they give us about that much, and they tell us that we should be happy. And I'm not happy. I'm not a happy man when it comes to, I'm a happy man. All right. I wake up in a good mood, but I am not happy when it comes to how the government treats, me and my family and poor Miss Dawn and our dog and all of you, because that's really what we're fighting for, is to make sure that we can live a better life. I like that idea.
JSHW, which I think is new, is asking, what about visiting Fort Knox?
Can you believe that? I mean, they railed against that when they were trying to get in office. And once they got into office, it's like the whole thing evaporated. Nobody talks about Fort Knox anymore. Oh, we're going to go down there. We're going to see. We're going to show you, the people, just exactly what's going on in there. No, they haven't. They absolutely shut their mouths. Same thing with look, they're letting Diddy off. They're letting Epstein, all the Epstein people off. And I'm not exactly convinced that Jeffrey Epstein is dead. There, I said it.
You said it.
I said it.
You said it out loud.
There we are. I do not trust our government, and I think that the Trump administration, I think the FBI, the CIA, and the DOJ are all hiding it. I don't trust Pam Bondi one bit. Is she doing a couple of good things? Yes. Kristi Noem's doing some good things. Absolutely. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, I think they're sitting around with their thumbs up there because they are tired of lying to us. Dan Bongino can't live with himself. I mean, honest to God, I have never seen somebody so wrung out, besides James Clapper when he was the head of the CIA, lying to us there. But
Babushka says Lee Zeldin, EPA moves to end climate regulations under Clean Air Act. The agency announced a proposal to rescind the landmark engagement finding, which says the greenhouse gases are a threat to public health.
Yeah. You know what's a threat to public health is poisoning us with heavy metals, dumping lithium into the atmosphere to calm the public, filling our water supply with atrazine and fluoride. It's the Raytheon neutrino ice project down there, heating the oceans, killing everything in its path. That I think that, maybe the NextRad or the Doppler or the 5G, the 4G, the HARP. You think that's not cooking us from the inside out? Oh my goodness! If I didn't know any better, and let me know in the chat what do you think. But if I didn't know any better, I would think that the EPA, Lee Zeldin, is absolutely panicking, trying to get out in front of this whole geoengineering, talking points. And we here at the Clear Skies Movement, we now reach almost 1 million people a week through any number of channels that we have developed with our message. We have created a ton of heat on politicians, and that is why Lee Zeldin and the EPA and the Trump administration, Donald Trump himself, right? I mean, Donald Trump runs this administration. He knows just exactly what the F is going on. So, that said, Lee Zeldin is trying to control the conversation, and he's losing. I mean, they're so far behind the talking points. They're just really playing catch up at this point, and it comes off as pandering. I don't like it. Do you like it, babe?
No.
No. Miss Dawn does not like it either. So I am going to get right onto it. So now we are going to talk about dodging the bombshell. Let's start with the receipts. DOGE, yes, the Department of Government Efficiency. That's the information we talked about earlier. Put out a bombshell post last month. They reviewed federal disbursements, found almost $5 trillion had disappeared with no accounting symbol. That's the code that tells them where the money came from and then where it went. Without a TAS, that's what it's called. This money is in the wind. No oversight, no paper trail. I know I went over this before, but I think it's very important that we understand that you don't just have $4.7 trillion fall out of your pocket while you're looking for your phone. It doesn't happen that way. This is how the mafia steals money. And we need to pull out the guillotine and start getting answers. Bang, you got an answer? No, your head rolls off. And I'm talking about the political guillotine. I'm not talking about a real guillotine because I don't even know if that would work. I mean, how do you guillotine people in this day and time? I don't think you can. But a political guillotine, chop the head off their career, let their career literally bleed out all over the place, pick up what pieces you can and start tracking this money. To put that in perspective, the entire U.S. federal budget in 2024 was $6.9 trillion. So $4.7 trillion of that was purposely stolen. That means over 2/3 of it may have gone to black operations, or it may have gone into the pockets of the very, very wealthy. They need some way to afford. How big is Jeff Bezos's yacht? I mean, it's like 1,000 feet. He's got 100 people running the damn thing. I mean, it's huge. It's absolutely enormous. And Mark Zuckerberg, his yacht's 400 and some feet long, and then he's got a 200 and some foot. It looks like a military vessel, but it carries like his helicopter and then all the toys. But it's a support vehicle that travels. I mean, what kind of money do you need? It's like floating.
What happened to the environment? Like, isn't that?
Oh no!
Running on batteries.
We can't count the plane flights and all the cars and all the big just gas guzzling, diesel guzzling yachts and all that, because they're wealthy and they get to actually buy carbon credits and that offsets it, and so that's there you go.
Lucky humans.
I know, right? Here is where it ties in, though. NOAA received a $10 million for stratospheric aerosol injection. DARPA continues to fund HARP-style ionic spheric research. And it's not really research, is it? It is HARP weaponized installations. And they say that there's about 100 of them. I know they admit to the one in Alaska, but they say, they being people who have researched this, and have gone out and seen these installations all the way from Rio de Janeiro to Germany to any number of places here in the United States, have seen these HARP installations. Raytheon, Boeing, and Lockheed Martin received massive black budget contracts for defense innovations. Back in 2013, the Washington Post reported $57.6 billion billion dollars in black budget spending. That means if it goes into a black budget spending, that's a way for them to say, ooh, that's a black program. We can't talk about that. And now literally the hyenas are just feeding off the carcass of America, and that has to stop. We have no idea where that money goes. And I guarantee you, it doesn't cost $50,000 for a toilet. I mean, that it's as simple as that. That was over a decade ago, back in 2013, when that budget was $75.6 billion. Imagine what they're doing now with trillions. Have your taxes gone down? Can you guys tell me in the chat, have your taxes gone down? Do you pay less for gasoline? Do you pay less for, for property tax? Do you pay less for income tax? Or have things just gone up and up and up and up and up and up and up? And taxes are absolutely illegal. That's what I'm saying right there. The United States government wants you to believe this is just an accounting glitch. But ask yourself, who benefits when $4.7 trillion, I can't believe I'm saying that number, disappears into the ethers? It's gone. And where did that money come from? I'm going to tell you right now, it came out of your and my pockets. We're the taxpayer. That's where that money came from. Could we stand somebody do the math out there? $4.7 trillion divided by 320 million Americans.
That'd be pretty nice to have in my pocket.
Right. How much would each of us get if we got our money back? Mm-hmm.
Our hard-earned money.
Very, very hard-earned money.
Mary Maga says if DARPA funds it, that means taxpayer funds it.
Yep.
That's it.
That is it. We've got NOAA research here. Injecting light-reflecting particles into the stratosphere could also make marine clouds brighter. Ooh. Oh, and we have marine cloud brightening is just another way that they poison the sky under, we're going to reflect the sun. They're not reflecting the sun.
Why do we need to brighten why do we need cloud brightening? Why don't we just let the sun do the job?
You know what?
Can you imagine? Pretty bright.
I mean, right now our skies are completely gray. We had blue skies this morning, and then the jets start flying, and now it's just absolutely gray. It's disgusting. LaShawn posted those incredible pictures of the oil slick rainbow clouds.
Watercolor. Yeah.
I mean, it's watercolor clouds right there. Chem clouds. Chem color. Meep, 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 meep. Chem cloud. That's what it is right there.
Anthony Hudson's here.
Anthony, well, how is the governorship doing down there? Anthony is running for the governor of Michigan, and I think that the people absolutely deserve a great governor like him, because the current governor, not doing a very good job. Not a governor of the people. At least that's what I can see. I don't live in Michigan, but I can read the news.
So get Anthony in there. When you were talking about taxes, he said you said what to do. He wrote, get rid of property taxes and state income taxes.
There you go. And that is part of Anthony's platform there in Michigan. So if you're listening in Michigan, go to our TCSM Michigan, join that, and then get a hold of Anthony and throw some support behind that man, because he is going to stop property taxes. And I'll tell you, if you want to build generational wealth, quit renting your effing property from the government. They don't need it. And look, $4.7 trillion, zoom, just gone, absolutely out of there. And nobody knows what happened. Did we ever get anybody to divide 4.7 trillion by 320 million to see what each one of us are getting back?
So I can go to bed dreaming tonight.
Exactly.
How am I going to spend that?
Yeah, and they can find this money. I mean, we cannot be so ridiculous to think they can't find this money.
Grafted in says, well, the government doesn't have any money. It's our money.
That is exactly right. The government has no money at all. It is the people's money. And it's about time that we absolutely put our foot on the throats of our government and stop them from draining that money out of our pocket and spending it. And I want my money back.
On nefarious stuff.
Oh, just horrific stuff. Good Lord. Anthony Fauci was literally torturing beagles for no reason except to torture them. I mean, they really had, when they were questioned about it, they couldn't come up with a reason why they were doing it. There was no scientific reason. It probably had something to do with adrenochrome. Can we get dogs to do that? Just like they do with the hundreds and hundreds, the millions of kids that have been, stolen. America is the number one trafficker of humans, and absolutely the number one child trafficking cartel on the planet, still to this very day. Now, Donald Trump and immigration, they're doing just a hell of a job. But the problem is enormous. And there we go. Well, our tax dollars went to pay for that. You want to be angry about something? Be angry about that. We got HARP offers a new frontier in space. Look at that. They love that high frequency active auroral research program. And it's not research, it's a weapon. They weaponize everything. Here we go. U.S. awards Lockheed Martin a record $68.5 billion, larger than the next two contractors combined. That came out July 4th, 2025. Actually, that was the day, 2 days before, Rainmaker had cloud seeded a storm that they created by pulling the cold down here in Idaho and pushing the heat up in Texas in the south. And then they let that snap like a rubber band. Storm starts. They send good old Augustus Dorico and his drones out to cloud seed that. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, just millions of acre feet of water, which should have been distributed across Texas and across the south, bang, dropped right there in the Kerrville district. And we all know what happened there.
Pure evil.
Babushka
says Fauci and Gates are very sick men.
Yeah, absolutely.
Human beings as psychopaths in charge.
Yeah. That is, and this is where this is the thing I absolutely love about the Clear Skies movement. We're fighters. We're brawlers. I mean, really, it's just, if all of us could be like LaShawn, the government wouldn't stand a chance. But but we're fighters. And yeah, you know what? I get wound up every now and then when people start running their mouths about how we're not allowed to do this or do that. We can do whatever we want. We are the people. 320 million of us divided by $4.7 trillion. So there we go. Let's see. We've got the...
don't mix pink salt with lemon and two other ingredients if you don't want to donate your entire...
I don't know why. Oh, you know what?
Sergey's working on
The Pentagon failed its seventh audit in a row. And by seventh audit in a row, we mean seventh ever audit. They've never passed an audit. They started auditing the Pentagon in 2018, and it has never passed one. Unable to fully account for $824 billion budget. The Pentagon failed its seventh consecutive audit on Friday as the agency was unable to fully account for its massive $824 billion budget, though officials were confident the Department of Defense, quote, has turned a corner in understanding its budgetary challenges going forward. The audits resulted in a disclaimer of opinion, which means auditors were provided with insufficient information to form an accurate opinion of the accounts.
There we go. So you heard it right there first. The Pentagon decided to just write a nice little note rather than present mountains of accounting data that they were asked for. They didn't. Here's the thing. If the IRS asked you and me for our bank statements to prove, that we owe the income tax that is an absolutely illegal tax. But let's say that they did that. They came and they said, knock on the door. We want this, and this. All right, I got 5 slips of paper, and I need to make sure that that I know what's going on. If you and I did not present that, if we just said, hold on, I'm just going to, on this napkin here, on this dirty napkin I just used, I'm going to pencil a little note saying, take my word for it, it's okay. We would be in prison. We would be arrested immediately. They would have dropped a TAC team on our little balcony here, kicked in the door, frightened the hell out of my dog, and then they would have drug us off literally down the street and tossed us in a paddy wagon, and we would never ever see the light of day. That could be a few $1,000s maybe, right? That we just said, oh, well, here I have a note, and you can track it later. Don't take my word for it. That $820 some billion, $829 billion, that's for the year. And every year, our Pentagon fails that audit. The audit came out in 2018. In 2018, it was passed that the Pentagon had to undergo an audit, and they had to prove where the money was being spent. They don't. And nobody pays a political price. Nobody pays a financial price. Nobody has to do anything. All they have to do is write a stupid little note saying, trust us, and move on. And they do. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it at all. And then, of course, here we go. Doge claims it found $4.7 trillion treasury payments that are absolutely untraceable. So we have that. And tell me this, and maybe let me know if they are saying anything in the chat about this. I want to know. I honestly want to know who in our government, with all of this money missing, who in our government has been arrested? Anyone? Anyone at all? And who will? No one. I mean, Anthony Fauci, he and his cabal killed 17 million people so far. They probably drug a wrecking ball through much of the planet's ability to procreate. No, nothing. Nothing's going to happen to them. He and his wife get to go free. The World Health Organization, there we go. They get off scot-free. China never paid a price because all of these people are part of the solution. Do you remember Hitler's final solution for the Jews? That's what we're experiencing right now. And quite frankly, the Third Reich was moved into America. The Third Reich was created by Americans, by the Bush family, by Prescott Bush, by Adam Schiff's great-granddad, Jacob Schiff, by the Harrimans, by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, by J.P. Morgan, right? I mean, Andrew Carnegie. They're the ones that financed the World War I, and then came back and found poor little Hitler there, painting his paintings, and they said, you got a greater purpose. And they literally built him out of nowhere. That's because war sells. And if you go to war, people are going to give you money. And what does our government love more than anything else? Money. Money, power, control. That's it. Money, power, control. The way we fight this is we take the money away, we take the control away, and we wrest the power from their greedy little hands. Stop paying taxes. I mean, that's my plan right there. They can go to hell. Waste $4.7 trillion, and that doesn't include the money that the Pentagon can't account for. That's almost another trillion. So now we're looking at close to $6 trillion a year that just vanishes. I don't know. I've got a severe problem with that. What are they saying over there in the chat, babe?
You see your coffee's kicking in.
Oh, yeah, and I had a little cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Nicole said a little earlier, so we don't pay taxes and we go to jail and lose everything we own, but they need it so that they can poison us with our own dollars. Ugh. I hate it here. So
here's what we do, right? We're not going to stop paying taxes this year. But what we are going to do is once we get millions of voices standing up, and we are going to build a fence, just like a chain link fence. We're all linked together. If they go to one person's house, if they start hassling one person, 10,000 of us show up at that home. We show up in that community. We show up online in the millions. We make it known that we will not stand for this anymore. It's done. Fini. Either they can go to war with us, physical, actual revolutionary war, or they can just back off and quit stealing our money. There's no precedence in the Constitution that says that they get to steal our money.
There is a guy, I remember watching it a couple years ago. He hasn't paid taxes in many years, and it's quite a battle, but he does it legally.
Is it Bill Gates?
No. It's just a regular guy, and he says, I can teach you how to do it. He has a lawyer that files. It's right in the Constitution. You're not supposed to take my money, and he doesn't pay taxes. But like I said, it's a bit of a fight every year when he doesn't file it.
We should find him, get him on the show.
I'll have to look that up.
There we go.
Let me see. Human being. It does seem over the top.
Right?
Oh, Mary Magus said, some days I think Bill Gates is a character created by the CIA.
I mean, everything points towards a psyop in this. Some days I wake up thinking, this cannot be real. Well, I agree with you, Mary Magna.
Let's not forget what Fauci did during the AIDS epidemic. It was exactly the same.
You know what?
We were talking about earlier.
Years ago, I read a book that I cannot find anymore. It's completely out of print, but it was called Virus. And it was a whistleblower from the CDC, worked at the NIH, worked with Dr. Fauci. His job was to review all the research data and then make determinations on it. And it was a fascinating book, and it was about that thick. It was like reading War and Peace. And to say it was dry would be an understatement, but I made my way through it. And that is the takeaway right there. In there, he outlines how a German biotech firm and the United States CDC always had, within about a half a mile or so, encampments wherever Ebola broke out. And he also said that the thing that raised his flag, one of the reasons he started sneaking away research papers and keeping notes, is because he noticed that Ebola, he couldn't track. That was part of his job, was tracking the virus from where it is, backtrack it to where it came from. He said, I couldn't. Bang. Because it was spliced together using CRISPR technology. Then he said that the same thing happened with HIV. And HIV was just a natural projection of Ebola. There we go. I'm eyeballing you. You're so pretty, baby. I lost my thought right there. I got lost in your eyes.
Thank you.
So now we have Dr. Anthony Fauci, and this is part of the weaponization of government against the people. We can't think of geoengineering as anything but a big piece of the whole puzzle. And that is what I'm trying to say over the next couple of nights here is we have to start looking at that whole puzzle. So that's what we are going to do. But yeah, Dr. Anthony Fauci is an absolute criminal, and I don't know how he is walking free at this moment. And everybody connected with the NIH, connected with the it'll come to me in a minute, but the entity that they run all the health money through. I forget the name of that.
Human Being says we should get a room.
Well, come on, baby.
Move on.
All right, so we'll head into this, because now we're going to kind of take it to the 60 degrees of separation for geoengineering. And I'm talking about connecting the dots. This isn't a conspiracy board. I'm looking more, at it as more of a paper trail. First of all, we've got the taxpayer funds going to the Treasury. Doe says that they can't trace trillions of dollars. 2, that money flows into NOAA, flows into NASA, flows into DARPA, flows into the Pentagon. Both confirmed funders, all of them are confirmed funders of geoengineering research. 3, NOAA contracts Raytheon for radar tech, Nextrad, Doppler, that sort of thing, and Boeing for aircrafts that hold patents for aerosol dispersion. I think I have that right here. Bingo! So we have Boeing has an aerosol, and they've got a number of these. This is one of their more recent patents. They call it fire suppression technology, but it's not. I mean, it's the exact same technology that we have being sprayed up in the sky, and that is what we need to be very aware of. We can't let they will never come out and say that they're wrong, ever. As we saw with Lee Zeldin, come out and lie to us. They'll use, they being the government, they being Boeing, they being Raytheon, they being the CIA or Ted Cruz down in Texas, do nothing Ted Cruz. We're going to be lied to at every step. We need to be able to connect these dots, with our intelligence. So here we go. We've got plenty of information. Raytheon funds Harvard's solar research geoengineering research program, where David Keith, funded by Bill Gates. Bill Gates put $4 million into Harvard's solar research program, solar geoengineering program, and then he took a government check for $20 billion as his profit for that. That ain't right. Just absolutely. With that money, can anybody guess? Can anybody guess at all where that money came from? Who's paying for that? You're right. It is you and me. That's taxpayer dollar right there. Yeah, there's nobody on the planet that's paying these people. So they tried to launch the Scopex experiment to spray calcium carbonate into the stratosphere. And we're not so stupid as to think that they didn't do it. And then, of course, 5, Keith co-founded Carbon Engineering, another Gates-backed startup experimenting with climate control tech. 6, BlackRock manages $11.6 trillion in global assets as of 2023. Now, we can safely assume that that has grown quite a bit bigger in the last 2 years. At least $705 billion of that is funneled directly into ESG-specific funds. That's not just capital, it's absolute control. ESG frameworks steer investments towards climate interventions, carbon markets, and so-called sustainability projects, many of which include geoengineering schemes like solar radiation management and atmospheric aerosol programs. It makes the clouds brighter, the marine clouds brighter, baby. Didn't you know that, right? That's what they do, and they scream at the top of the lungs, look what we've done. And then all of a sudden, LaShawn is posting pictures of clouds that we have never seen before in albeit beautiful colors, but they're not supposed to be there because they're poisoning us. This is how weather manipulation gets quietly funded under the banner of saving the planet. And here's the kicker. BlackRock, the financial black hole, owns equity stakes in all of it, from defense contractors to carbon capture startups to the media pushing the narratives. They own the entire cycle. Every dollar that you and I pay in taxes is funneled without our knowledge into self-reinforcing climate control complex. That's how it's done. Not to save us, not to save the planet, but to control the weather, the food supply, and the economy. Money, power, and control. That's what it's all about. That's not 6 degrees. That's actually a straight line. But I like to call it 6 degrees of separation. This is no longer a theory. This is a documented network of institutions linked by money, patents, and power. And, well, they are making their money back 100-fold, 1,000-fold, 10,000-fold. This is the money we know of. So, baby, what are they saying over there in the chat?
Well, I have interesting news, but they have not been really listening to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't blame them.
Beckham brought on that there was an earthquake just off of Russia, and there's a tsunami warning in Hawaii and the West Coast. So they're talking about, what do you think Russia was doing in Cuba, so close to USA last year during the 2024 several Russian warships.
Yep.
Yeah, I sent you some.
It's up right now. Let's take a listen.
Magnitude 8.7 earthquake happened. You see, issued first when the earthquake occurred to generate a potential tsunami. It gives you fair warning that it could be upgraded to a tsunami advisory or a tsunami warning or be canceled. And it was canceled last week, as you remember. As far as tsunami advisory, upgraded from a watch if potential tsunami could cause strong currents or dangerous waves. Widespread inundation is not expected. But then on the other hand, this is where we are right now, a tsunami warning, significant widespread inundation evacuation is imminent or expected. Dangerous coastal flooding and currents expected, with all of the numbers coming in, with the magnitude, the depth of this earthquake, and already seeing signs of waves that are already occurring, of course, in Russia and all the way in Japan. Dangerous coastal flooding and currents will likely be arriving after 7 o'clock today. Urgent action to protect life and property, including evacuations. So closest to the epicenter, that's where you see the big.
All right, so there we go. We've got the tsunami warning for Hawaii. What are they saying over there in the chat?
Vectum says, I think we earthquaked Russia.
Yeah, and you'll notice, I mean, right up here, I'll point with my cursor here if you guys can see it. Right here, right, this was, well, she just blocked it. So that was the Sandpoint, Alaska earthquake out by Dutch Harbor. And it's all along that same, it's called the Ring of Fire here. And it is where that all those plates kind of meet up, all the tectonic plates. And I believe that we're definitely causing this. Just the massively, ridiculously crazy weather. Heat 100 degrees for the first time in history in Tampa, Florida. Florida gets hot. Florida sits, in the 80s and sometimes in the 90s, but it's humid and it's tropical. But it doesn't have heat spikes. Now, all of a sudden, we have a 100 degree day down in Florida. I mean, that has got to be miserable. Yeah. We've got triple digit temperatures across the Midwest and down into the South now. We've got but we've got a very unusual cold pressure zone that is starting to push down from Canada. And if that hits there, boy, there's going to be some terrible storms.
So some people think we didn't cause an earthquake. Rohit Mishra, Russia is deliberately painted as bad and evil. It banned LGBTQ. It is an Orthodox nation. And then someone, Vectum said, DPSF 98 said, Putin banned GMOs and glyphosate 3 years ago. He's doing right by his people. They love him.
And Russia is a conservative nation. This is one thing that a lot of people forget. Russia is not a real liberal nation. They're real conservative, and they're awfully damn proud of that. And Vladimir Putin understands that the way he stays in power is he has to at least do some of the people's bidding. And I mean, really, he's kind of made Russia better than it used to be in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Under Leonid Brezhnev and Gorbachev, they weren't doing any favors for anybody. So there we go.
Vectum said just now, it's warning now Hawaii, and they are telling everyone to get off the beaches on the entire West Coast.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's going to be interesting to see.
We'll watch that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on there. Now, if you guys wonder why I lose as many followers every day as I gain, I've been staying just under 10,000 for over a month now.
Yeah.
Our programs are always, the other day we put up a video of Barack Obama, and immediately our signal went
dead. No
dead.
one could hear us.
Yeah,
and then we
bang.
were dropped.
All of our spaces. The reason we don't no longer do spaces because we were constantly hacked by X. That's the problem right there. And if you want to know why, take a little listen here. Oh, hold on.
Technology that will significantly impact the amount of CO2 that's in the air.
Yeah, so I just actually announced that I'm funding this $100 million carbon capture prize to find out the answer to that question. So right now, all of the carbon capture methods that we're aware of are very expensive. The cost per ton is very expensive. And then even if money is not an issue, you have to say, okay, how much wind or solar energy was required to pull carbon out of the atmosphere and make it in solid form, like make a cube of it or something. We don't actually know the answer to that question.
Is it
so Elon Musk is investing, and we know that he has any number of investments in geoengineering. You want to know why X has a problem with not just me, but our entire core team here at the Clear Skies Movement? That's why, because they are programming their AI. And I always say this all the time. AI is like a car. You can get in a car and drive down the road and everything's safe. But if you take that car and plow it into a group of protesters or a family having lunch, on the side of a street someplace in a restaurant, it's not the car's fault. It's not AI's fault, but AI is being programmed to attack us by the evil overlords that are Elon Musk. And I don't know, I know that I bring up his American Party, and I do it just so we are aware of what's going on. But the fact is that man is investing in and getting these carbon capture profits, and I don't think it's right.
Danger 187 says trees do it for free.
Exactly, that is exactly right. Thank goodness for trees also.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we are going to just crawl into the next section, the financial blackout. Here is what the United States military, DARPA, NASA, NOAA, General Electric, Harvard, and all the rest of the usual suspects don't want you to ask. Why are contracts like Raytheon and Boeing, General Electric, building both weather weapons and AI weather tracking systems? Why is NOAA, a weather agency, experimenting with the stratospheric aerosol injection funded by untraceable dollars? Why is Bill Gates, the same man who profits from the vaccines and land and digital ID, now funding sun-dimming agendas? Here we go. We got Raytheon right here, Advanced Warning Interactive Processing System. Boy, there a lot of technology, a lot of words there. The Climate Industrial Complex calls it climate repair. But what happens when the climate they fix is the same one they broke? Well, that's the problem right there. And the way they do that is by dragging tax dollars, your and my tax dollars, out of our pockets and into their system so they can become much wealthier. It's all about money, power, and control. That's what it is. The answer lies in the darkness. That's where the almost $5-6 trillion a year goes. And, well, tonight, I'm trying to shine a little light on that. We've got NOAA right here. NOAA's Earth Radiation Budget Initiative explores the feasibility of studying solar engineering. And here we are with the researchers. Oh, hold on. I don't seem to have that button working all that well. Let's see if I can fix that real quick so you guys can see it. Well, it should work. It really should.
It is finished says they are trying to mimic God and they are going to piss him off. Remember what he did to the people of Babel.
Babylon. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Babel. Yes.
Babel.
Here we go. Researchers quietly planned the test to dim the sun. They wanted to avoid scaring the public. Now, this was part of the Harvard Scopex doohickey there. But this came out just the other day. And a team of researchers in California drew notoriety last year with an aborted experiment on a retired aircraft carrier that sought to test a machine for creating clouds. Tell me this. I mean, just absolutely tell me this. All the naysayers that say that this isn't happening, when the EPA comes out and says, Lee Zeldin says, yes, it's happening, but don't worry, we got it under control, right? They're running damage control, CYA stuff. Everybody from the Department of Defense to the EPA, to NASA, NOAA, all of them essentially have admitted it. We have all of the receipts in the trillions that have gone missing into deep, dark, black budget programs. I'm telling you, if there is somebody who still is stupid enough to say that geoengineering is not happening. We have all of the radar research. We have all of the patents. We have the financial trails. We've got the fly ash being sprayed. We have the ripples in the sky. We have LaShawn's picture. There we go. If somebody is stupid enough to still say, oh, it's conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
I just want, how big is the rock that they are living under?
Delivery driver says geoengineering burning down trees in Canada's fires.
Yep.
Yeah. Vectum says they're making most Americans stupid AF.
Oh, I mean, that's what our educational system does. We no longer teach people how to be thinkers. We don't teach anything about solving problems. And quite frankly, I don't think that school should. I think that school should be for reading, writing, arithmetic, science, history, and that's it. Right?
And get outside.
And then get outside and let the parents come back into the child's life and teach them how to take care of the household, teach them how to balance the bush. Teach them about what their heritage is about. I don't care what anybody's color is or what your beliefs are. If you're a good person, I like you. If you're not a good person, I don't like you. Yeah.
It Can't Be a Joke says, we are listening to you, Sergey. It's important to understand the funding mechanisms and the dollar amount that's behind everything, and that in the end, it's coming out of all of our pockets. They don't deserve a dime, and it's time the people stood up and cut their money laundering scheme.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got to stand up, people.
So now Dutch Sense is saying that earthquake was, the big one was an 8.7, and they had a 7.4 also. That's so for every tick that goes up, every like 8.7 to 8.8, that's 10 times as powerful. An 8.8 is 10 times as powerful as an 8.7. From an 8 to a 9, it's 100 times more powerful. Oof. Yeah, and that's a lot. So, and I didn't mean to discount that comment. Thank you very much. I know you guys are listening, and I absolutely love the input. I look forward to this time of night every night. And it's why I, conned poor Miss Dawn into doing Sunday nights with me, so I didn't have to go 2 days on the weekend without getting on the horn here.
Rohit Mishra says geoengineering deniers are ostriches' heads buried in the sand.
They certainly are.
I just don't understand it. I agree. Like, how can you even just
at this
have
point
a conversation with someone?
Yeah.
We have, and they're like, "Oh, you mean contrails?" I'm like, nobody even uses that word anymore.
No,
like,
I believe in contrails, but it's not condensation trail. It's like you're being conned with that trail.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no. Come on, it's just. Come on. I sometimes I can't get my head around what people are thinking. And I know that there are plenty of people that just play devil's advocate just because they want to be, a thorn in your side. Okay, I get that. But what I have such a hard time understanding is how can people with even a modicum of ability to read or write or speak the English language or whatever other language, how can they in these days and times say it's a conspiracy theory and keep a straight face? It's just, it's the mountain of evidence. I mean, it's not a mountain. It is an entire mountain range. It's the Rocky Mountain Range of 8-point type print papers stacked as high as the mountains, and people still try to say.
And we went to the moon too.
That's right. That's right. Forget about how do we get past the Van Allen radiation belt without just frying everybody inside that little capsule. Yeah. And we've never been back. And oops, NASA, we lost all the research. Here's what I say about that. If NASA did lose all the research, we should end NASA today. If they are that inept to lose what at that time was considered the most impressive advancement of mankind's history, turns out it was all a lie. And of course, they killed Stanley Kubrick. I mean, they murdered him. He went to lunch with somebody and never showed back up.
Rohit Mishra said, I had a really bad time in the Clear Skies Initiative. 5 contrail Brits ganged up on me.
Oh my goodness.
Block them all.
Yeah, exactly.
When I simply posted chemtrail clips.
Right? Yeah. How dare you put evidence up here?
Yeah, you silly man.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
Put your head back in the sand like all of us.
Exactly. There is absolutely no way that you can get away with proving what everybody in that little group says is not true. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I'm going to keep an eye on this earthquake and see what the tsunami brings. Normally, when the tsunami is this far away, it's not going to hit as a real big tsunami. So they'll probably have a couple of feet at most of a tsunami, but it can create some pretty powerful waves, and we don't want to see anybody get hurt. So yeah, stay off the coasts.
You just never know.
You really never do know. If you get caught in a rip current, though, how do you get out of that, baby?
You swim with it.
Sideways.
Yeah,
exactly.
Swim out of it.
All right. Well, don't take Miss Dawn's advice.
Well, I know how to do it.
I'm the swimmer. Really, I'm a good swimmer.
I actually had to teach Sarah how to swim.
Come on,
but it's 8:30.
I beat you. All right. Well, it's too late to argue then.
He did just learn how to swim.
Oh my God. I can't believe what I'm hearing. That brings us up to the end of the night. Join me tomorrow night for part 2, and of course Thursday night for part 3. Can you guys do me a favor? If you're not following me, follow me. I'm struggling right now on X. They're really hammering me hard. I get like 2 or 3 notifications when I used to get hundreds. Tell your friends, have them follow me. Join the Clear Skies Movement USA, and then join your state. For all of us, I am Serge Brown.
And I'm Dawn.
We'll see you tomorrow.